Morning guys, Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training. Walking around property this morning, I figured I'd yak the screen a little bit about a thread that's going on online with one of the more social media savvy gift of gab trainers. And I have respect for him. He's got the gift of gab, he puts out some good points. And I think this was the guy that people said that he was following me and following my accent points, and then he'd do his own and on Instagram with a little bit more digital magic, a little bit more clean, because I'm not a cameraman, I'm not worth a hoot when it comes to doing social media and stuff, but I hope my knowledge is worthy. But walk around property with Rox, and then I got Rox is my older bitch. She's retired basically. I imported over from France. And to go with Arrow a number of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. And then Buddy is her son. I'm letting her and Buddy run together in a big old exercise yard I put together. Hi, Rox, huh? Yeah, good girl. So it's pretty out there today. So in a nutshell, this thread was one of these trainers that's got himself a good following online, and he's into the newer age of social media. And this is what drives our industry nowadays. And so I got to relating to what he was saying. He was making a point that he's going out and doing workshops. And it's taboo within our industry to do that when you're so green and you don't have the creds behind you to go out and do seminars. And he's right. The old folks like me don't respect it. There's a reason for that. We'll go over it, but I always like to try to look at myself. Why do I react this way? Why do I get emotional in regards to certain subjects? And I went back to my, I had a little Dutch Shepherd puppy that I was working. He'll be on screen a little bit more as we go along, but he's already back home with the owner, and now I'm putting together lessons for them and building that relationship, helping them with their puppy. And they're totally outmatched, because what's happening is society as a whole and our industry is affecting the general public, and it's only natural that it's going to. So now you're having certain people that are online that don't have a clue, and they're not professional, and they see the Dutch Shepherds and they see a hot poster with a hot breeding. And I've had 2 of these dogs that hit me in the last year or so. One was the name Simba, and Simba was he spun like a son of a gun. And the owners have done hardly anything with him except treat him as like a pet at home, and he's locked up so much energy and all kinds of wasted drive. So that was where my initial reaction came. And when I saw this little Dutch Shepherd Togo son, and I'm not sure his breeding is Togo, but he's all that and then some. He's a well-bred dog. I right away flashed on the fact that this dog was going to be like Simba. The customer was gone out and bought a Dutch Shepherd, and they're outmatched, and they have no clue what they're going to get into with dealing with a dog like this without the experience and expertise. And the only one that suffers is the dog, right, in the end, because in a year and a half, they get tired of it. They throw the dog into the system, and he ends up getting put down or bouncing from home to home, having a bite history, whatever it may be. This stuff happens because of ignorance, right? It happens because of ignorance, and it's not something you want to have happen. So that being the case, I was pretty upset about it when it came in, and right away I get wild hairs and I go off on a accent point, and I go after it. Well, then this one came up where this person's talking about going out and doing workshops, and don't get me wrong, I just was putting a counterpoint, because everybody else is going to pat him on the back and pat him on the ass and make him feel good because he's going out and doing these workshops, as he's calling them. I have 30, 40 years experience, and then he made a reply to me when I came at him, basically, and I had to step back and analyze, why do I have this reaction? Why do I have this emotional reaction when I see this happening within our industry? It's because I come from the old school. And that was when I was a kid, training my dogs as a kid. I went out and got a job with a training firm. I worked with that training firm, and back then we did things in lessons in parks. At least this facility did. And a lot of them did. A lot of trainers were out in parks giving lessons and doing our thing in parks. And then came along Petco and PetSmart, and corporate moved in as usual. And they kind of took the belly out of the market, and the trainers started to slide away from doing lessons in parks. But so I went out and got a job at a training firm in Oakland and lived in the back of that training firm for a couple years. Ended up eat, breathe, sleep dogs. Came back and started my own business. And then climbed the ladder by going out and doing it. And a lot of my years over the time was spent in the back of kennels training dogs for other people and having to do with animal husbandry, scooping shit, taking care of the dogs, all the things that you have to do, and then doing it the old school way. What was the old school way? We went out, we apprenticed, we went under people. We knew we had to earn our stripes within all kinds of industries. That was just the way it was done. And here comes the internet with all these videos and all this yak, and everybody's judging everybody by how many clicks they have or how many followers they have, because this gentleman online has a lot of followers, and the kids are all banding around him. So that makes it so that he's got to be an expert because he has all these followers, right? So why do I get upset? Why do I get upset is because the general overall industry, your guys' behavior, as far as an individual like this that wants to go do a workshop, if we say it's okay, then the next person comes out and he does the same thing, and pretty soon you got a bunch of people out there giving seminars and workshops that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, right? It's just not earning your stripes really galls me. Why? Because I did it the hard way. I earned it by eating, breathing, sleeping dogs, living. I was with Caesar for 2 years, right? At least 2 or 3 years we hung together. You know, and I lived at his place on 163rd. And eat, breathe, sleep dogs. I mean, that's the way that I did it, and that's what irritates me is the kids don't want to work for it anymore. They don't want to earn it. They want to just go out and use marketing and digital magic and just go poof, I'm all that and then some, right? And it irritates the hell out of me. If you allow that to happen as a general attitude within the industry, you're only personifying something that the customer is the one that suffers. Remember what I said? The only one that suffers is that dog, that Dutch Shepherd, so high drive, and somebody that's outmatched gets that dog, and that dog ends up in the pound and gets put down, whatever. That's what's sad. The dog is the one that suffers because the customer by no way should have a dog of that caliber. But I'm going to do my best for this customer because he's already got the dog. He's already bit it off, right? And he's motivated. He wants to learn and grow. So I'm going to do the best I can by the customer and by the dog, even though I feel like it's not proper. It's not right because of the dog. Where's my emotional standpoint? Because I care about the animal, right? And so the same thing happens when my reaction goes to this, is that I care about the general public. Their ignorance, they shouldn't have to pay a kid, what are they charging, $3,800 a month? I'm hearing outrageous prices, right? And so in other words, being overcharged for a kid that doesn't have hardly any experience and goes out there and learns on the customer's dime. That just irritates the hell out of me, and that's a big problem. It really is. There's all kinds of people that are keyboard warriors who go out there and they think, look at Dog Daddy, right? You think that was right, him running around? Now he's slowed down. Now I don't see hardly any of his videos anymore, but you know, going around hanging dogs up and thinking he's a hero and then moving on to the next city. What about the customer's education? And I understand that some of that works. I mean, we've got to calm the dog down and we've got to do what we got to do, but when he doesn't stay and he goes to the next city and then try to be a hero and move from place to place, and it's all driven by social media, it irritates the hell out of me, you know? It galls me. So there's my point, right? It's just a generalized point that says, you know, we've got to be conscientious about what you're doing to feed the industry and to feed these kids that think it's okay to do this, right? And I would much rather have them have the attitude, and if we all had professionals, people that have some kind of standing, the Justin Rigneys or whatever, we all had the attitude that this is wrong, and we personified this in our message, what we put out, kids would start doing it the way we did it in the old days. Go get a job for somebody. Go work for somebody that's got a reputable business and get mentored and work under somebody for a year or two. Then go out and hang yourself a shingle up. You know, I mean, it's not it's just not right in that respect. Now, the old school is a different thing. A lot of times these trainers would go out and they'd mentor under somebody, kids, and they'd work for them for a year or two, and then they'd split the sheets. And as they went off on their own, the mentor would get all mad and pissed off and throw all kinds of an attitude towards this person that went and moved away from them. So that's wrong too, you know what I mean? You got to be able to give a little bit of support to somebody that's learning and growing. I've got somebody that I've mentored and I've done it a different way, and the person has got a pretty good business going, and so he's good with Google and all the Google ads and all that good stuff. So he's got a market, and he's a hell of a salesman. So I just take his clients and then I try to do my best to educate him on the side. But it causes a lot of problems. I end up getting all the headaches, all the behavior modification, all the problem dogs. A lot of times I'll get them because they're too much pain in the ass for him. We call them headaches, right? And so I don't enjoy that. That doesn't feed my soul. What feeds my soul is building a puppy from the bottom up, and that's what I think we all enjoy, you know. What you doing, Rox? What you doing? Oh, that's Bud. Bud ran into a sharp object the other day and scarred his face a little bit. I'm going to have to take some time to heal. He's healing up pretty good. You healing up pretty good there, buddy? Huh? Are you? All right. So, in a nutshell, that's what I wanted to let you guys know. Why do I react the way I do? It's almost an emotional reaction. I get pretty peeved about it because of the fact that I don't like to see our industry perpetuate the same thing again and again, and these kids are out there hanging up a shingle for one before they're qualified and learning on the customer's dime. That's wrong. It's because of the customer and caring about my industry. I care about how the public views us. How many stories have you seen where this person's went to one trainer, then two trainers, then three trainers, and then they brag that, man, they spent all kinds of money before they ran into the Justin Rigney, right? Well, that's just wrong. You know what I mean? And it's just, we need to bring up the standards of how we introduce people into our industry and what's right and what's wrong. And you do it by what you put out to the world. And so if you put out to the world that this is okay, the next guy comes along and he'll do the same thing. And then, so what's happening? The general public, and it's kind of a feeding frenzy. It's all about popularity and what's going on with the social media, but it is what it is. But I thought that it was only fair that I put out why my emotional reaction is, because I care about my industry as a whole, and the general public is the one that's suffering, right? Just like that Dutch Shepherd is suffering because he's probably going to end up reaching failure with that person, and that failure is going to cause him to go into the system, and it's not fair to the animal, right? So in the same context, it's not fair to the general public to be charging them the kind of money that you guys are charging to that degree when you don't have the expertise to help the customer, and or you're a negative reflection on our industry, right? So it is what it is. I can't stop it. I was doing a lot of trying to be the gatekeeper and try to put out my opinion all the time. I'm very opinionated. You guys know that. But yeah, and then this person came back and said, what was his reply? Oh, there's a lot of people that can be training dogs for years and not be that good. I've been doing it for a lot of years and I'm pretty damn good at what I do. Now, do I play sport? Do I get out there on the field? You going to judge me by that? No, but I handle all kinds of mental midgets, and I handle all kinds of aggression and all kinds of things that I handle, right? So I'm pretty good at what I do. I like to think so anyway, and that's because I've been eat, breathing, sleeping dogs for a lot of years. I don't look at myself as a trainer as much as I do a dog man, to be honest with you. And that's a title that you will hear every now and then with the old timers. Calling somebody a dog man, that's a sign of respect, right? So, all right, I'll let you guys go. You have a good day. We did a bunch of tractor work out here, got it all graded this last week, and it is beautiful out there. All right, Mark Ferrasci, ProTech Dog Training up in the high desert. You guys have a good day. And to the gentleman that was commenting about it, you know, I've got no hate, no rancor against you. I just thought it was important that I chime in with a different point of view and a different perspective from the old school, and not just have everybody run around patting each other on the ass and praising them because they're hanging with this person or that way. I call that ass patting. A lot of ass patting going on in our industry nowadays, right? The social media industry where everybody's running around patting each other on the ass, and oh, so-and-so shows up with so-and-so, and that makes them good because they're hanging with the man, right? That's bullshit too. It's all social media, right? All right, I'll let you guys go. Have a good day. Thank you much. Mark Ferrasci, ProTech Dog Training, signing off from the high desert.